We're joined in the studio by European Council on Foreign Relations, Mattia Toaldo. Mattia, thank you for coming in to Arise News. Again, a complicated situation in Libya at the moment. What do you make of this latest attack?
Well, there are lots of mysteries over this attack. Who was the target? Why they hit there? Are they really ISIS? You know, you could have anyone claiming on Twitter that they're ISIS. We know that there have been previous claims of ISIS attacks in Libya, and especially in Tripoli recently, against embassies. And the Corinthia Hotel is, in a way, sorts of an embassy, because that's where many internationals actually live in Tripoli.
Just remind us of the political situation there, because you've got rival parties trying to govern, ruling different parts of the country, and they're both alleging that the other was somehow involved in this attack.
Yeah, there were some interesting theories. For instance, the Tripoli government supported the idea that this was not an ISIS attack, it was an attack by former Gaddafi loyalists. The problem is there is no real government authority in Libya. So we know there was an attack yesterday, but we don't know whether there will be any serious investigation into it, because we don't know whether there is any serious authority today in Tripoli as elsewhere. And this is not the first attack in Libya.
It's disappointing as well, I'm sure, in terms of the EU, because talks in Geneva quite recently came out quite positively, didn't they, between the warring factions in Libya. So, I mean, what will the EU make of this?
Well, you know, the positive news coming from Geneva is that apparently there is an agreement for a national unity government to be formed within 2 weeks. And I think while that track moves on, and it will take a long time, we will see, unfortunately, more attacks like yesterday.
Against Western institutions often, because, as we know, the Corinthia Hotel had lots of foreign nationals. And this is a string of attacks, isn't it, since the ousting of Muammar Gaddafi. Some wonder, is the situation worse now than then?
I would say that the situation then prepared what we see now. Many of the people acting, especially in the city of Derna, were already active under Gaddafi and had their education, so to speak, during the Gaddafi years, then moved to Syria to wage jihad, accumulated new experience, and now we're moving back to Libya.
So can you just paint a picture for us what life is like inside Libya at the moment? Obviously, this is going to be pushing off. It's not good for business, because there's lots of foreign people working there and they're being targeted. But what is life generally like for people living there?
I'm not in Libya, but what we hear is that, especially in Benghazi, life is really miserable. Also in other parts of Libya, basic supplies of medicines are lacking. We may see a humanitarian disaster in Libya. For instance, if the great Manman River, which supplies running water to most of Libya, runs out of water because of lack of maintenance, because there is no government doing this. So I think we have a terrorist threat, but we have a humanitarian threat in Libya, which has been overlooked, except by the EU.
Mattia Toaldo, thank you very much for coming in.